We're live, Mary Beth.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a
Happy.
very wet morning on the wet coast,
Oh
and
my gosh.
a good day for writing.
Should I show people what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so look at the rain. Look at that, those stormy seas. Oh my gosh, it is a perfect day for writing. As Mary Beth has said, do you have your tea? Do you have your tea, Mary Beth?
Coffee.
Or you have your coffee? Mine's over there on the ledge. Mine's on the ledge.
All right. So here we are, the Writer's Adventure Boot Camp Day 2. This is where we get right into it. And we're just going to kick you off with a few writing prompts to get you going. But you want to go a bit deeper, Tina? By the way, I'm Mary Beth King.
Yeah. Let's give a little context first, because there might be people who are just seeing this for the first time. So I'm Tina O, and this is
Mary Beth Dean.
Mary Beth Dean. We are the Writer's Adventure, and we are in the middle of, or actually at the top of, a writer's boot camp. This is morning number 1 after night number 1 yesterday. We're spending 2.5 days writing into what we call the engine room, which is a pivotal piece in any piece of writing that you're doing. Mary Beth and I talk about it as the heart of the piece. And we're doing this boot camp to introduce you to the way that we work. And our wish for you is always that you develop a life of writing, and that when you hit a blank page, you can always source inspiration that is connected to the core of who you are, and walk through this world as a writer, as a creative, and just letting your soul fly on words. So you want to recap us on what we did last night, and then we can jump into the 3 examples of the
Sure. So last night we introduced a concept that we call the engine room. So for us, the engine room is often a scene. Sometimes it's dialogue, sometimes it's just an idea, but it manifests in some physical way, something that we can see, something that's tangible, that is the reason why the writer writes the story or the work, or it's this really driving force for both the writer and the reader, and it's critical to the story. It's the heart of that story. And so we introduced that idea and gave a few clips to people, which if you're following, where can people find these, Tina? Are they
in the comments? They're wherever you're following, they're in the comments.
So if you haven't checked them out already, check out those 3 key scenes, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. So these are 3 scenes that are 3 of our favorite engine rooms, and they show up in very different ways in these 3 stories. And the 3 stories are Coraline, which was originally a book by Neil Gaiman, and Jaws. We all know Jaws, but some of us might not have watched that in a few decades. And also the unforgettable A Few Good Men.
Yeah, totally. So let's start with the first one, because there are 3 distinctly different scenes that do very different things, different emotional life. Why did we choose Coraline, Mary Beth?
So for us, this scene in Coraline is the perfect setup, and it really shows the theme of the story, what's at stake. It kind of lays it all on the table.
Yeah.
Right there like that. And, the interesting thing is, I was just saying to Tina, because I was looking up that scene, because I actually haven't watched it in a while, and I found another one that happens later in the movie. So this scene actually focuses on a central thing, which makes a drastic change. Every story you write or read, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, poetry, whatever, there is a change involved. And so that change is going to, there's essentially a friction. Change, we like nice, smooth change, nice, smooth transition. But the truth is there's always a friction in there. And in that friction, we feel the heat of the engine room.
And so remember how we said last night that the first 5 minutes, in the first 5 minutes, or that first inspiration, that all the information you need is in that first impulse. Coraline is a perfect example about that. That scene establishes tone, it establishes voice, it establishes stakes, it establishes history, and when I say establishes, they're in hints. They don't tell the whole story, but you can touch every single piece of the Coraline journey, every single piece in that. It's at the end of a great story, it doesn't matter what medium you're in, your receiver of the story wants to go, oh my God, I knew it all along. How did they do that? It's surprising, but inevitable.
So, just listening to you say that, Tina, I'm thinking people might get overwhelmed by this idea that we're asking them to write an engine room this weekend.
Well, we're talking about the example of the establishing engine room, right? But that's why we chose Coraline.
Yeah.
But then we also chose Jaws, which is an entirely different engine room. Why do you want to jump in on why we chose that one?
I feel like you're a better one for Jaws because this one is, I know this Jaws scene is really near and dear to your heart.
Yeah. Okay. So think of it this way. Coraline like tickles my brain. My brain goes, oh, it's the perfect engine room because it like ticks all the boxes. Jaws like tickles my heart because it ticks all the yearnings. Some of you sent stuff back from the writing prompts from last night. And what I noticed, and I will circle back, I promise, is that what's so clear in a writing prompt is the yearning that is driving the details. And Jaws as an engine room, to me anyway, speaks to the profound yearning that you actually can't put words to. So you got to put a scene to it. It's got to show up in dialogue. It doesn't show up in, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And could that movie exist or that story exist without that scene? Yep. But I, as the receiver of the story, would miss out on what's truly at stake for this central character, which is a whole other conversation we'll do in another boot camp about the 3 conflicts. But yearning, I just want you to get like some stories. I'm going to suggest that music and dance, likely, or visual art, it's less about, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And it's all about the yearning.
Great example, Tina.
Yeah.
It's like a whole story in a painting.
Exactly.
It's not linear.
No. So that's
I'm going to break our linear brains just a little bit here.
Yeah. Some of you are like, let's go back to the details. I like the boxes. Okay. So the third one, do you want to talk about A Few Good Men? I freaking love that scene. It's like,
I mean, okay, A Few Good Men, everyone knows the scene, whether you've seen the movie or not. And you know the movie just based on that scene.
Right.
You can't handle the truth. Right? Yeah. That performance could be placed into so many different contexts and tell a different story with the same point. That's it's the heart of every conflict. You can't handle the truth. What is the truth? How do we nail this?
And you spoke earlier about transformation and friction. So the key piece of that engine room is the friction.
And I think the whole point is nobody's going to get out of that the same. Nobody is going to emerge from that place or that conflict as the same person who they were before.
And that, our invitation to you is that is your job as the storyteller. Not today. Today we're playing, right? But in the story arc of this weekend, if you can chase that, the friction into the transformation, that's your job. Like Mary Beth always says to the people we work with, put out your hand to the reader. Take my hand. That's your job. You're saying, take my hand. I've got you. I'm going to walk with you through this story. What are you taking their hand for? Right? Okay. So those are our three. Those were last night's. And some of you did some beautiful writing on that. And what I noticed in the writing was, the yearning. Now I'm a tracker, so I can literally scan things and go, oh, there's the yearning. Oh, so we've got a little bit about that. But here's another concept I want to give to you. Remember we said circle the clues, like what comes up. Those are what I call gateways. Those are gateways into the next paragraph or the next chapter or the next step in the story. And so what we want to give to you now as we build into the afternoon's piece, which is all around theme, we want to give you some writing prompts around the clarity that Mary Beth was talking about, like the clarity of the friction, the clarity of the yearning, or the clarity of the establishing details. And whereas last night was more emotionally based, right? What's that inspiration spark? Now it's like, how do we bring that inspiration spark into some specific details that can move you forward?
So you're going to see in our writing prompt instructions, which I'm not sure, Tina, whether you posted them. I'm not sure whether you posted them or not. No, you did last night. So you're going to post them again. So you're going to set a timer. Just let it all out of you for that little chunk of time and run with that, whatever prompt speaks to you in whatever way. And it actually doesn't matter what comes out, but you're just going to keep pushing through and forcing your subconscious to bring something to the page. And then you're going to stop when the timer goes beep, 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 beep. You're going to stop and then you're going to look at your work. And then what, Tina?
Then you're going to reflect back. Wow, what's the message here for me?
Well, or even keywords, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're reading through that and it's like, table, where did table come from? Diamond ring, what's that all about? And let's see if you can use some of those little keys or clues or whatever you want to call them to start building something that's going to move your story forward in the sense of a scene, in the sense of the physical world, in the sense of action and change and, friction.
So to give you some options, because you might not know you may not have ever done that before. And the great thing about writing prompts is they open up that emotional space and they open up surprises. Like Mary Beth just said, like table, what? Diamond ring, what? And then it's like, now how do I actually put that into a story that I don't know what the story is yet? So here's some thoughts to play with. And again, I want you to think of them like gateways. So what did that diamond ring open up? Oh God, I hear dialogue in my head. Great. Start writing some dialogue. Put two people in a room. What are they talking about that diamond ring? Oh, you know what I see? I see a picture. Great. Write a description. What do you actually see? Okay, that gateway opened up something that rhymes. Oh my gosh, great. Start rhyming. Where does that take you? Oh, that just opened up a rant for me. I could see somebody ranting. Great. Yell at me. Write me something where give me the argument. Maybe it's a poem. I don't know, but like let that gateway of a clue listen or see what happens in your sensory experience and let that be true and write that. Let that be true and write that. All right. Do you want to read out the writing prompts, Mary Beth?
Sure. So writing prompt number 1. I always knew deep down that we ... I always knew deep down that we something.
And we'll post them too in case you're... Yeah. Okay. So that's the first one.
Next one. We never should have. We never should have. And then 2 more. I want you to see what I see. And number 4, in this simple moment, everything is so clear. There we go. 4 writing prompts, which you may use, or if you got something else going that's already juicing you up, you can run with that too. But I would urge you to give your self-conscious the space of a few minutes this morning in your writing practice.
Beautiful. Something that we notice about writers is that traction matters. That we notice with writers, if they don't get traction, meaning words on the page that are leading somewhere, it's really easy to give up. So the invitation for you is to explore, like the emotional life, the discovery, and then try something. Try something in a form, a paragraph, a stanza. Try something. That's the traction piece. That's going to build the confidence of, look at me writing. Look at me doing this. All right. So we'll be back today at 4 o'clock to really jump into theme of your engine room. And thanks for being here.
Yeah. And if anyone feels so inclined or inspired, feel free to share anything you've written.
Yeah. We've got 2 writing groups going on Facebook right now. So by all means, share your writing there. And or if I'm on the email, send me your writing. All right, everybody.
Have a happy Saturday of writing.
Yeah, and the rain and the cozy rain. Cozy up and drink your tea. Bye.
Bye.